Good morning. Today I'm going to a place which has kind of become my working spot. I go there to write, to think, to get some peace and quiet, and to enjoy the views. You'll see what I mean later on. Also, I will keep sharing these lessons that I've learned that have helped me survive and succeed in this career as a travel and documentary photographer.
Hey, I'm Mitchell. For the past decade, I've been living my dream, journeying around the world as a professional travel photographer. During this time, I've seen and I've learned a lot. And now I want to share the knowledge with you. Come along on the journey.
So before at the house, it was like a little paradise. It was super quiet, chilled, and then they started doing renovations next door. So now there's noise pretty much from the morning. Then the owner's got a new rooster, a new dog, so you just can't get any peace and quiet at all. Where I'm going now is only 11 kilometers away, and it's like a different world. I actually just got out to show you real quick that I'm driving the road that goes above the town. From this viewpoint, you can already see most of Urubamba. Before I share the first lesson, I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. Today is the very last day of the biggest ever special on my travel photography course. The course is the most affordable it's ever been or ever will be. You have less than 24 hours to get it at 70% off. Alright, so the first lesson that I'm going to share today is ride the wave of opportunity and live up to the moment. The photography industry and the creative industries in general are in a constant state of change. It all really is like a wave. One day there is an onslaught of opportunities, the next day there's nothing, and then for weeks or maybe months or who knows how long, the sea is just absolutely flat. It's a little noisy here from the road, so I'll continue this closer to my spot. The good thing about this region is that it's so easy to get away to a quiet place in nature. I just look for something on Google Maps, and usually I find something. Once the lockdown was finished, I drove this road and I saw these kinds of dirt roads going off of the main road. I would have a look at the satellite imagery on Google Maps to see where they might lead to, and I just started exploring. So check out the view from here, and it gets better too. Anyway, after about 7 years of struggling, I finally caught a good wave of opportunity. I made my first educational photo ebook, got a decent amount of money from it, so I made another one and made a bit more. Then one day I was noticed by the digital photography school, and they offered me a deal to write an ebook on travel photography. Now at that stage, the digital photography school was huge, the biggest or maybe one of the biggest photo education sites out there. I think that they actually still are. I'm just walking around to see if there's a strong wind in this direction. If you've been watching these videos, you'll know that wind has been my number one enemy so far in making them. And yeah, by about 1 p.m. it just becomes really windy and the sound from the mic becomes almost unusable. But so far it seems pretty quiet, so good sign. So that deal, I jumped into it full of confidence, as I do into anything, for better or worse. The deal had the capacity to change my life. I could make more money than I ever thought was possible through travel photography when I started out. But about halfway through writing the ebook, I started to feel quite overwhelmed. this project was much bigger and much more serious than anything that I'd ever worked on. I never worked with an editor before, with a designer. All of a sudden, I had a deadline. There were all these expectations from different people. So at one stage, I did kind of feel like saying, hey, sorry, I'm not really up to the task. Maybe you should look for someone else. However, this was just too big and too important to just give up. Like that Eminem song, you only get one chance to blow, the opportunity comes once in a lifetime, kind of like that. This was my ticket out of the life as a starving artist. I pulled myself together and I finished this ebook, and it went really great. I got another deal and another, and suddenly I wasn't a starving artist anymore. I had enough financial freedom to pursue the kinds of creative projects that I wanted, and eventually I had enough leverage to start my own photo education website, on which you can find the travel photography course and another resource that's coming out real soon. Hey, since it's not windy, I'm actually going to show you another spot. In some sense, I'm riding that wave of momentum now with YouTube. One day, one of my videos started getting tens of thousands of views, and I went from like 1,000 subscribers to 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 20, and so on. I made more videos, mixed result, but I'm kind of still riding this wave. Of course, I enjoy this a lot, but I couldn't keep making these videos if there weren't some opportunities that came with a slightly larger audience. So what happens if you don't ride that wave? If you don't take that big opportunity? Well, we can't have them all, and I've probably missed out on more things than I can imagine, that I realize. However, there is one particular opportunity that I know I missed out on that I still regret till today. Look at that. Snow-peak mountains in all directions and the valley below. So this opportunity. I was gonna do a project on luxury travel in Mozambique. The budget was approved, everything was going through, and then they told me the dates. It was going to be a real tough squeeze in between other projects, and I really hadn't spent any time with my family during that period, so I declined. And we both kind of said, okay, we really have to work together some other time, but that other time, it never came. So the lesson from this, for me and for you, is that you really have to ride that wave of opportunity. You have to grab your chances, and you can't choke. You have to live up to the moment, especially in the early stages of your journey, because you never know, maybe you will get a chance, but I have been around this industry for long enough to know that it's just too unpredictable to really know. The next lesson I learned is pretty related to the last one. Leverage all your talents, skills, and abilities. When I was at uni, I majored in film history and theory. All I wanted to do was make photos and shoot films. But all that we did at uni was read about films and write about films. And I thought that this was incredibly useless for what I actually wanted to do. However, what I actually did at uni taught me to effectively express my ideas through writing. I've been wanting to shoot here for a while. I think people planted these. They look like pine trees. And if you show me anything that looks like pine trees after seeing the deserts or the eucalyptus trees, I get a little nostalgic. It reminds me of walks in the forest with my grandpa in Belarus when I was a child. Now, this ain't no forest, but these are pine trees, or pine tree-like trees. Yeah, they are pine trees because there's sap coming out of them. So fast forward like 8 years from uni, and I was finally leveraging those skills, those abilities that I gained in the most unexpected way. Yes, those ebooks. My photos were what got me the deal to make the ebooks, but my ability to write and to express my ideas were getting me paid. Later on, my experience making these ebooks, being involved in the design, just knowing how it all works, and being able to talk about photography, landed me a huge project in Indonesia. My photography was what attracted them to me. But what got me the job was the little PDF presentation, an ebook-like PDF presentation that I sent them, and just my ability to express my photographic ideas on calls with the agency. What I'm doing right now, this, for YouTube. I never thought that I would be in front of the camera. Well, not since I was about 10, but I think around that age we all have the Oscar acceptance speech in front of the bathroom mirror. But, okay, what I'm doing is I'm actually leveraging my ability to present in front of the camera and of course my ability to educate. I'm gonna continue to my spot. No one around. Peace and quiet. When I first started out in photography, all that I wanted to do was to make photos, but I was hardly making any money. And I was always dependent on publications and on companies. And I guess I could have gone down that path. I could have worked my way through the ranks, climbed that ladder, so to say. But I took a different path instead. Partly thanks to the advice from Michael, the documentary photographer. I mentioned that in the last video. Partly just through my own observation. I learned that if I wanted to achieve a certain level of success, it didn't make sense to only be a photographer. And in all of the creative fields, the lines were kind of blending and blurring anyway. Now, I see myself primarily as a photographer. But I'm also a writer, an educator, a video maker and a video editor. I'm presenting here on YouTube, and who knows what else I might be doing in the future. Leveraging all of my talents, skills and abilities, I can really kind of build my brand, and I can find different ways of generating an income. But the best thing of all is that I can have the freedom. And that means that I can work on only those projects that actually interest me. So yeah, this is the spot where I've been coming to get some peace and quiet, to do some work and to enjoy the view. This spot here is a little more quiet because it's protected by those hills there. The wind doesn't come from that direction, whereas in the other spot, the wind gets so strong that it makes my car shake. Now it seems like the wind is picking up a little bit here, so I might just go home, get some lunch, and then continue this when I go for another drive in the afternoon. The final lesson I want to share with all of you is the whole thing about following your passion. I found it to be true. I didn't get into travel photography because I saw it as a way to make money. There are obviously much better ways to do that. I love traveling. I love meeting new people. These are my passions. Travel photography is a lifestyle that I've dreamt about ever since I became an adult. I've pursued this dream somewhat obsessively from pretty early on. As you might have gathered from the videos, it wasn't an easy path by any means. But these days, for most part, I'm doing exactly what I love. And now I'm doing quite alright financially too. I've prioritized following my passion over a nice house, fancy cars, job security, you know, that sort of stuff. Now, this might not be the thing for you. In fact, to many people, what I do might be completely stupid. But I knew that I had to follow my passion to make me happy. And I thought to myself that if I don't make anything out of my photography, out of my filmmaking, then at least I will have had some amazing experiences. And while my university degree wouldn't help me have much of a career in Australia, I knew that it could help me get a job as an English teacher somewhere around the world. So I thought to myself, okay, I might try to keep pursuing my passion for travel and photography that way while teaching English, hopefully in some country that I actually want to explore. As was to be expected, the wind has really picked up, so I'm gonna go to another place, see if it's any quieter there. Worst case scenario, I'll just find a beautiful spot, a nice background, and finish the video from inside of the car. I'm heading towards a pretty famous area, the Maras salt mines. I thought that maybe, just maybe, I'd be able to show you the salt mines of Maras, but no, they're closed due to COVID. And look, one of my least favorite signs in the world. Nevertheless, I have been to this place before, and either I didn't notice that sign or it wasn't there, but I did get some footage of these incredible salt mines from my drone. So back in the car, thankfully it's not too hard to find a beautiful view in this area. These are the same mountains that you saw in the morning, and you can see the town of Urubamba from here. Crazy strong wind. I think the mic can still pick up just how strong the wind is outside the car. Anyway, whether to pursue your passions, your dreams, or go for something safer, more stable, more financially rewarding, that's a bit of a philosophical question. Are you the kind of person who is okay with maybe never quite achieving what you want? Are you okay with being that person who's still searching for something at 50, but they sure have had an amazing journey along that search? Or do you need a career? Do you want to be able to get a loan and pay it off and to have all that material stuff? But maybe you never follow your passion, or perhaps you never even find out what your passion is. The answer really depends on the individual, on you. For me, the decision to follow my passion has been a rewarding one. And I think I would have been okay if I was still searching for a way to make it into a career. Just because of all the amazing adventures and the experiences that I've had along the way. Before I go, the final reminder. You have less than 24 hours to grab that huge deal on my travel photography course. I'll be announcing my new educational photo resource soon, so this is the absolute best deal that you will get on this course. That's it for all the lessons that I've learned as an almost 40-year-old travel photographer. Like I said, I wish that I knew some of this stuff earlier, but it's just as well that I feel like I'm only just entering my prime. I just hope that the world can get back to normal. Not this new normal. The new normal sucks. Thank you very much for tuning in. Goodbye for now.